Hello dear students. Today the topic of our discussion will be economy and its types. As we all know, there are two types of majorly important economies, which is capitalist economy and the other one is communistic economy. So firstly, the growth of economy as an entity took place vastly during the Neolithic period, where humans began to settle down in places and also adopt agriculture. With the growth of settled life and agriculture, the growth of economy also took place. Now, economy has a very simple objective, that is the equitable redistribution of resources. See, we have a lot of resources in our planet. It can be your metallic minerals such as iron, steel, or your non-metallic minerals such as salt, sodium, etc. And you have your food grains. All of these constitute as resources. Anything that we consume is called not physically consuming. It can be subjected to mental consumption, such as you wave a video, you watch movies, you watch sports. They are also a type of consumption. So anything that we consume are called as resources. Now these resources have to be distributed amongst the individuals. As we know, the world is made up of limited resources. There is a limit upon the availability of iron, steel, gold, etc. There is a limit on how much food grains we can produce. So the job of economy is to redistribute these resources amongst the individuals in an equitable manner. Now let's say, for example, there are 5 individuals, okay, there are 5 individuals and we have 5 cakes. This is a hypothetical example. Now we all know that we need to consume food in order to gain energy. So these individuals require certain amount of energy for their sustenance and also to work. Now here work is simply agriculturist activities. It means the production of raw materials which will be necessary for the preparation of said cakes. Now what is the essence of economy is, you have 5 cakes, you have 5 individual. The job of economy is to equitably redistribute the total pool of resources into each individual. That means each individual will get 1 cake, they will consume that cake, and with the energy that they receive of post consumption, they will work in the fields to produce grains that will again be used to make cakes. So this cycle of equitable redistribution is the main objective of economy. But as we all know, this seldomly occurs in the world. In the current scenario, only the top 1% have the majority of the wealth, whereas the 99% have least amount of resources. So since the dawn of human civilization, it has been the idea of economy to redistribute resources in an equitable manner. Now to undergo this process, there are 2 major schools of thought. First is the capitalistic school. Today, the entire world, the system that runs is the capitalistic system. See, a brief idea of how a capitalistic system works. Say there is an individual X. This individual has an amount of money. He has some amount of money, which we shall call as capital or money or investment. Now this individual uses the capital that they have to build a factory. A factory, let's say, that produces pens. Okay. So first, basically, this person will have to buy the land. After that, this person will contract people for the building, for construction. So this person will spend a amount on the individuals to build this factory. Then next, the same person will invest on machinery, because to produce pens you need machines. So each and every industry has a set amount of machineries that are required. So therefore this capital is invested into machineries. Then the final stage is employment. Without people working in a factory, it is simply not possible to produce pens. Machines themselves cannot create output unless it is artificial intelligence, that too it has a limited scope. So all of these have been taken care by this individual. So this individual is foregoing the risk. This individual is providing the capital. This individual is making the necessary purchases to facilitate the factory. Once this factory is up and running, it will produce pens, which will be consumed by the population. Now everyone, whoever wants a pen, will buy that pen, and all that money that is collected from the sale of this pen reaches this individual X. So after the sale of the pen, all the money that is gathered, let's say 100 rupees, they say this factory sold pens worth 100 rupees. This 100 rupees will directly go into the pockets of X, the individual X. Now this individual will use this 100 rupees for maintenance, for providing wages to the employees who are employed in their factory, and various other unforeseen circumstances will be dealt using this money. And a major chunk of this, let's say 60 rupees, will be a profit that will be held by this individual. So every day they make 100 rupees, 60 rupees goes to the pocket of individual. The same way the wealth is generated and it is being collected by this individual. This is a classical setup for capitalism. Now next is communalism. What is communism? The proponent or the perpetrator of communism is Karl Marx. Karl Marx has written various literature upon his idea of communism. What his communism means. See, Karl Marx was a German individual, and growing up, he saw that the society was deeply divided. There were people who were having a lot. There were people without the necessary requirements such as food. He classified them as bourgeois and proletariat. Bourgeois are your rich, wealthy individuals, whereas proletariat are the laborers that work in this factory. Now, because of this capitalistic nature of economy, he saw that a lot of wealth was getting accumulated under the bourgeois. These people were building generational wealth, whereas these laborers had to earn for a living, fight for a living every day. This person doesn't come to work one day, they lose the wages. Therefore, they do not have sustenance. Whereas these individuals, they have generational wealth, which is highly difficult to dissolve. So, seeing this discrimination in the society, he came out with an idea to equitably distribute the wages or money among the workers. See, again, same example of the pen factory. There is a pen factory. Now, what Karl Marx says is, this pen factory is producing pens. Now, each pen is worth, let's say, 10 rupees. According to Karl Marx, this object which the capitalists sell, this product that they sell, has the value of 10 rupees because there are workers, there are laborers who have toiled in the factory to create this pen. Without the labor, without the craftsmanship of a labor, without the presence of a labor, you simply cannot create a pen. So no labor, no person, no people working in the factory, no production. See, you might have seen a lot of strikes where people refuse to go to factories. In the sense, they cut down the production. So simply, without people, without the labor force, there is no object for the capitalists to sell and make money. So the entire value of this product is thanks to the laborers. Here the capitalist is only acting as a mediator. Here capitalist only acts as a trustee who brings all the means of production together. But the actual value of the product is thanks to the sweat of the laborers. So in his idea, he proposed that this money should be equally distributed among the laborers. In capitalistic nature of economy, we saw that the entire sum of money that was gained by the sale of pens was going to the capitalist or the owner of the factory. But here Karl Marx suggests that no, since the product has value because of the laborers, this money should be redistributed equally among the laborers. Say there are 10 people, each 10 individuals should get 1 rupee. Whereas this capitalist also will earn money, but the job of the capitalist is merely a trustee. This capitalist should act as a trustee to the institution. They should not harp on the profit. Majority of the profit should go to the laborers. This is the idea of Karl Marx. So these two are strictly economic topics. We all know economy cannot exist without polity, and stability in polity will not exist without economy. Polity and economy are sister entities. Without each other, there is no existence of the one. See, there in history we see a lot of political empires, administrations collapsing due to fall of economy. Whereas when we see a great and bustling economy, we see a strong nation. So therefore, polity and economy are closely related to each other. In a capitalistic system, the price of the commodity is decided by, we took the example of pen. So the price of that pen will be decided by the market forces. Now what are market forces? There are two market forces, which is demand and supply. Demand should always be equal to supply. If there is a greater demand, then there is an increase in price. If there is a shortage in supply, then there is an increase in price. If there is a excess in supply, there is a reduction in price. If there is a reduction in demand, there is a reduction in price. So that is how the market forces work. Whereas in a communistic setup, the prices are regulated by the government. Here Market forces of demand and supply do not dictate the price of the commodity. Here, it is the government that will decide what price should be paid for which type of commodity. See, India since from 1947 till up to 1992 followed this ideal where the government used to fix prices of most commodities to facilitate the growth, to facilitate redistribution of wealth, because we know there is a stark difference in the wealth holding of the poor and the rich too. So therefore, to make all commodities and everything that we have affordable, we use the communistic idea of price regulation. So these are the basic concepts. So by this we understand that for a capitalistic economy to thrive, it needs democracy. Democracy is the byproduct of capitalists. Whereas for communistic economy to prevail, you need authoritarian governments or individual. See, because by simply it is very difficult to enforce the capitalists into sharing the major profits with the laborers, and to may have a regulated price system, we need a strong government. So therefore, to bring communism in effect, we need authoritarian governments, whereas capitalistic economy thrives in democratic principles. When we have a democracy, each person will have their say and each person will be free to put their inputs for the price range. So this is the relationship between the politics and economy. Thank you.